Have you ever wondered what it would be like to travel through time? Today, we are going to do just that. We are embarking on an epic years of Chinese history, culture, and landscapes. This is a journey for the curious, for the dreamers, for anyone who believes that understanding our world begins with a single step into another. Imagine a place so immense that it holds nearly every landscape you can think of. Towering, snow-capped mountains that pierce the sky, vast, shimmering deserts where sand dunes sing in the wind, winding rivers that have carved their way through the land for millennia, creating breathtaking gorges and nurturing ancient villages. We will see sprawling megacities that pulse with energy and innovation, their skylines a testament to human ambition. But we will also find quiet, classical gardens where time seems to stand still, offering a peaceful escape. China is a land of profound contrasts, and it is in these contrasts that its true character is revealed. It is a country that simultaneously looks to its future, while holding its past in a warm, respectful embrace. So, why does China spark such deep curiosity in so many of us? Perhaps it's the sheer scale of its history, a continuous story that stretches back further than almost any other. It's a history filled with powerful dynasties, brilliant inventions, and profound philosophies that have shaped not only China, but the entire world. Or maybe it's the human element that draws us in. The stories of emperors, poets, farmers, artisans, families who have passed down traditions for generations. It could also be the allure of the unknown, the desire to see and understand a culture that can feel both distant and surprisingly familiar. China invites us to ask big questions and to find answers in the small details of everyday life. Our goal today is to peel back the layers of this extraordinary place, one story at a time. So, find a comfortable spot, take a deep breath, and let your imagination take flight, ready to share their secrets. Let's begin our journey together. Beijing, the imperial heartbeat. Our first major stop is the grand city of Beijing. For over 800 years, this has been China's capital, the nerve center of a vast empire, and now a bustling modern nation. The name Beijing literally means Northern Capital, a title that perfectly captures its role as the political and cultural anchor of the country. This is a city built on an epic scale, with wide avenues, monumental squares, and an underlying geometry that speaks of order and power. It was designed to be the center of the world, a place where the emperor, the son of heaven, would mediate between the celestial and the earthly realms. That sense of grandeur and importance still permeates the city today. When you arrive in Beijing, you immediately feel this unique blend of the ancient and the hyper-modern. Gleaming skyscrapers stand alongside ancient temples. 6-lane ring roads encircle the historical core, where imperial palaces have stood for centuries. It's a city of incredible energy, where millions of people are constantly on the move, yet you can also find moments of profound tranquility. You might see a group of elderly men playing chess in a quiet park, their concentration absolute, just a stone's throw from a street humming with the noise of traffic and commerce. This constant interplay between past and present is what makes Beijing so endlessly fascinating. The city's layout tells a story. At its very heart lies the Forbidden City, the former imperial palace. From there, the city radiates outwards in a series of concentric rings. This design is not accidental. It reflects ancient Chinese cosmology and the importance of harmony and balance. The north-south axis that runs through the city was considered a sacred line, connecting the key imperial structures, Drum Tower, Bell Tower, Temple of Heaven in the south. To walk through Beijing is to walk through a living diagram of power, philosophy, and history, all carefully planned and laid out for centuries. Our exploration of Beijing will be a journey into this imperial heartbeat. We will wander through its most famous landmarks, but we will also seek out the hidden corners where the city's true character resides. We will discover the rhythms of daily life, from the morning exercises in the local parks to the lively night markets that spring to life after dark. Beijing is more than just a collection of historical sites. It is a living, breathing city with a soul shaped by centuries of drama, art, and human resilience. It is the perfect place to begin our deep dive into the story of northern China. Echoes in the hutongs, a glimpse of old Beijing. To truly understand the heart of Beijing, we must step away from the grand avenues and into the narrow, winding alleyways known as hutongs. These are the city's traditional residential neighborhoods, a labyrinth of single-story courtyard homes and quiet lanes that offer a precious glimpse into a bygone era. Walking through a hutong is like stepping back in time. The roar of the city fades away, replaced by the gentle sounds of everyday life. The clatter of mahjong tiles, the cheerful ringing of a bicycle bell, the friendly chatter of neighbors catching up outside their homes. This is where the spirit of old Beijing still lives and breathes. The hutongs are organized around a central concept in Chinese architecture, the courtyard house, or Siheyuan. These homes are designed to be inward-facing, with rooms built around a central, private courtyard. This design fosters a sense of community and family, creating a peaceful sanctuary shielded from the outside world. For generations, families have lived in these homes, sharing the courtyard space, growing trees and flowers, and creating a tight-knit social fabric. As we wander these alleyways, we might see persimmon trees heavy with fruit in the autumn, or hear the chirping of pet birds in ornate cages hanging from the eaves of a gray-tiled roof. Life in the hutongs moves at a different pace. Here, community is everything. It's not uncommon to see residents gathered around a small table on the street, engrossed in a game of cards or Chinese chess. Shopkeepers greet their customers by name, and the local street vendors know exactly how each of their regulars likes their morning snack. This is a world built on personal connections and shared history. In the summer, residents bring out chairs to sit in the shade, fanning themselves and chatting, while children play freely in the relative safety of the narrow lanes. It is a deeply human and authentic side of the city. Sadly, many of these historic neighborhoods have disappeared in the face of modern development. However, the ones that remain are now protected, recognized as a vital part of Beijing's cultural heritage. Exploring them offers a profound contrast to the monumental scale of the city's imperial sites. The hutongs remind us that the history of a city is not just about emperors and palaces. It is also about the countless ordinary people who have built their lives, raised their families, and created a vibrant community, generation after generation. These humble alleyways are just as important to Beijing's story as any grand temple. Next, the Forbidden City. Now we move from the humble hutongs to the Forbidden City. For nearly 500 years, this was the imperial palace of the Ming dynasty, of the Qing dynasty, home to 24 emperors, the absolute center of the Chinese universe. Called the Forbidden City because no one could enter or leave without the emperor's permission. For ordinary people, what lay behind those massive red walls was a complete mystery. Today, its gates are open to all, inviting us to step into a world of power, opulence, intricate ritual, covering over 180 acres, not just a building, a city within a city, a self-contained world, about 980 buildings, over 8,700 rooms. A masterpiece of Chinese architecture and cosmology, aligned on a perfect north-south axis, with the most important buildings on the central line. Pass through gate after gate, following a carefully orchestrated procession, meant to inspire awe and to reinforce the emperor's supreme authority. Every detail, the color of the roof tiles, the number of steps to a throne, is rich with symbolism. The Forbidden City is divided into two main parts. The outer court, vast courtyards, grand halls, the domain of men, the center of state affairs, where the emperor held lavish ceremonies, conducted official business, and presided over the empire. Halls with names that evoke power and harmony, Hall of Supreme Harmony, Hall of Central Harmony. In contrast, the inner court, the private residence of the emperor and his family. A more intimate, complex world of palaces, gardens, courtyards, the imperial family, thousands of concubines and eunuchs living in secluded splendor. Walking through today, you're overwhelmed by scale and beauty. Wander empty halls, quiet gardens. Imagine life that once filled these spaces. Picture the emperor on his dragon throne, receiving officials from distant provinces. Imagine the empress and her attendants strolling in the imperial garden, or court musicians rehearsing for ceremony. The Forbidden City is more than an architectural wonder, a time capsule preserving stories, secrets, and an immense legacy. Next, the Great Wall. No trip to northern China would be complete without a visit to the Great Wall. This is not just a wall, it is a symbol of China's immense history, its enduring strength, and the sheer scale of its ambition, snaking its way across rugged mountains and desolate plains. It is often described as a giant stone dragon, winding over the contours of the land. Standing on one of its watchtowers and seeing it disappear into the distant haze is humbling. The story of the Great Wall is not a single project, but many walls built over centuries. The first sections were constructed over 2,000 years ago during the Qin dynasty. Over the centuries, dynasties repaired, rebuilt, and extended it. The most famous, well-preserved sections around Beijing were largely built during the Ming dynasty. This was a monumental undertaking, requiring the labor of millions of soldiers, peasants, and prisoners. The purpose wasn't just to keep invaders out. It was a sophisticated military defense system. The watchtowers, up close. Towers spaced within sight of one another, forming a line. They sent messages using smoke signals by day and fire by night. The wall also served as a transportation corridor, moving troops and supplies quickly. More than a physical barrier, it marked a psychological divide: the settled, agricultural south and the nomadic cultures of the steppes to the north. Today, walking on the Great Wall is a powerful and moving experience. You climb steep stone steps and gaze out at the breathtaking landscape, feeling connected to those who built and guarded it. You can almost hear the echoes of marching soldiers and the lonely calls of sentries through long, cold nights. The Great Wall is a testament to human perseverance and ingenuity, and a somber reminder of conflicts that shaped China's past. It is more than a tourist attraction. It is a national epic written in stone and earth. The Summer Palace. After the imposing formality of the Forbidden City, our next stop offers a different vision of imperial life. We travel to the northwestern outskirts of Beijing to visit the Summer Palace. As its name suggests, this was the emperor's seasonal retreat, a place to escape the oppressive heat of the city and indulge in leisure and relaxation. But this is no simple country home. The Summer Palace is a masterpiece of Chinese landscape garden design, centered around the serene Kunming Lake and the gentle slope of Longevity Hill. It is designed to look like a perfect natural landscape, but every hill, lake, pagoda was man-made. The design is meant to be a microcosm of the entire Chinese empire. Different sections evoke famous scenic spots from other parts of China, particularly the beautiful landscapes of the south. You might cross a bridge that's a replica of one in Suzhou, or climb a hill meant to resemble a famous mountain. It let the emperor travel his realm without leaving the garden. This creates a sense of endless discovery, with a new, perfectly framed view around every corner. One remarkable feature is the long corridor, a covered walkway nearly half a mile long along Kunming Lake. Its beams are decorated with over 14,000 paintings of landscapes, historical episodes, and scenes from Chinese mythology. The gallery let the imperial court stroll, protected from sun and rain, surrounded by art. At the center, atop Longevity Hill, stands the Tower of Buddhist Incense, a grand pagoda with panoramic views. The Summer Palace has a complex and sometimes turbulent history. It was rebuilt by Empress Dowager Cixi in the late 19th century, using funds meant for modernizing the Chinese Navy. The marble boat, a stone structure at the lake's edge, symbolizes that controversy. Today, the palace is a beloved public park. Families boat on the lake, stroll through its gardens, and enjoy a peaceful escape from the city. It testifies to the enduring appeal of nature, art, and the dream of a perfect, harmonious world. A journey through northern China is not just a feast for the eyes, but also for the palate. The cuisine of this region is shaped by its climate and its history, resulting in dishes that are hearty, savory, and deeply satisfying. Unlike the fiery spices of the Southwest or the delicate sweetness of the South, northern Chinese food is characterized by its use of wheat, salt, vinegar, and rich, dark soy sauce. Wheat, rather than rice, is the staple grain here, thanks to the cold, dry climate. You will find an incredible variety of noodles, dumplings, buns, and pancakes. The undisputed king of Beijing cuisine is, of course, Peking duck. This is more than just a meal. It is a culinary ceremony. The duck is roasted until its skin is impossibly thin, crisp, and a beautiful reddish brown, while the meat inside remains tender and juicy. The chef then brings the whole duck to your table and carves it with theatrical precision. The prized skin is eaten first, often dipped in a little sugar to highlight its richness. The meat is then served with paper-thin pancakes, sweet bean sauce, finely sliced scallions, and cucumbers, allowing you to create your own perfect, delicious bite. Beyond this famous delicacy, the heart of northern cuisine lies in its more humble, everyday foods. Imagine stepping into a small, steamy restaurant on a cold winter's day and ordering a bowl of jjajangmyeon, or fried sauce noodles. Thick, chewy wheat noodles, topped with a rich, savory sauce made from fermented soybean paste and ground pork, served with a colorful assortment of fresh, julienned cucumbers and radishes. Another beloved staple is the jiaozi, or dumpling. These crescent-shaped parcels, filled with minced meat and vegetables, can be boiled, steamed, or pan-fried, and are a central part of family gatherings, especially during the Chinese New Year. Food in northern China is deeply connected to the seasons and to a philosophy of balance. Hearty lamb hot pot, where diners cook their own thin slices of meat and vegetables in a simmering communal pot, was a favorite meal for warming up during the long, cold winters. In the summer, lighter fare like cold noodle dishes and refreshing cucumber salads become more popular. Exploring the food of the North is an essential part of understanding its culture. It is a way to connect with the land, the climate, and the generations of families who have perfected these comforting and delicious recipes over centuries. Just south of the Forbidden City lies another of Beijing's most profound and beautiful sights, the Temple of Heaven. While the Forbidden City was the emperor's earthly residence, the Temple of Heaven was his spiritual one. This was the sacred place where the emperors of the Ming and Qing dynasties would come to perform solemn rituals and pray for good harvests. They believed that as the Son of Heaven, it was their unique responsibility to act as the intermediary between the human world and the celestial realm. The fate of the entire empire, they believed, rested on these sacred ceremonies and the favor of the heavens. The design of the Temple of Heaven is a masterpiece of philosophical and cosmological symbolism. The entire complex is situated within a vast park, and its layout is full of meaning. The southern wall of the park is square, representing the earth, while the northern wall is rounded, representing heaven. This reflects the ancient Chinese belief that heaven is round and the earth is square. As the emperor moved from the square southern end to the round northern end to perform the rituals, he was symbolically journeying from earth to heaven. The park is filled with ancient cypress trees, some of them over 500 years old, creating a serene and timeless atmosphere. The most iconic structure in the complex is the Hall of Prayer for Good Harvests. This magnificent circular building, with its three-tiered roof of deep blue tiles, is one of the most recognizable symbols of Beijing. The blue tiles represent the color of the sky. Remarkably, the entire wooden structure was built without a single nail, a testament to the genius of traditional Chinese carpentry. Inside, The 4 central pillars represent the 4 seasons. The 12 inner pillars represent the 12 months of the year. The 12 outer pillars represent the 12 two-hour periods of the day. It is a perfect architectural calendar. Today, the Temple of Heaven Park is no longer the exclusive domain of the emperor. It has become a vibrant hub of community life for the residents of Beijing. Every morning, the park fills with people practicing Tai Chi, performing fan dances, playing traditional instruments, engaging in spirited games of badminton. The sound of opera singing might drift from a grove of trees where a group has gathered to practice. This transformation from a restricted, sacred imperial altar to a lively public space is a powerful symbol of modern China. It is a place where the grand history of the empire now shares space with the simple joys of everyday people. We now travel westward from Beijing, following the path of history to another of China's ancient capitals, Xi'an. This city was once the eastern starting point of the legendary Silk Road, a bustling hub of trade and culture where merchants from Central Asia and the Middle East mingled with Chinese officials and artisans. But Xi'an's greatest claim to fame lies buried beneath the earth just outside the city. In 1974, a group of farmers digging a well uncovered one of the most astonishing archaeological discoveries of all time: the Terracotta Army, a silent subterranean army created to guard an emperor in the afterlife. Rows and rows of life-sized clay soldiers standing in formation. Life-sized clay soldiers, horses, chariots, built for Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of a unified China, a ruler of immense ambition and ruthless efficiency, standardizing weights, measures, currency, starting the construction of the Great Wall. Obsessed with immortality, he created this terracotta army to protect him in the afterlife, believing his underground tomb was a parallel universe where he would continue to rule. For over 2,000 years, this silent force stood guard, unknown to the world above. The staggering scale and realism. 3 main pits unearthed, 8,000 soldiers, 130 chariots, over 600 horses. Each soldier is unique. Their faces, hairstyles, and uniforms were all crafted with incredible attention to detail, suggesting that they may have been modeled on actual members of the emperor's real army. There are archers, cavalrymen, infantrymen, all arranged in perfect battle formation, ready to defend their emperor for eternity. Originally, they were painted in bright, vivid colors, though much of the paint has faded after centuries underground. Standing before these silent warriors today is a deeply moving experience. You are looking at the faces of an army that has been frozen in time for more than 2 millennia. It is a powerful testament to the vision, power, and paranoia of the man who created it. The main tomb of Emperor Qin Shi Huang himself, said to contain a map of his empire with rivers of mercury, has yet to be excavated, leaving its rumored treasures to the imagination. The Terracotta Army is more than just a collection of statues. It is a direct link to the birth of Imperial China and the monumental ambition of its very first emperor, a fitting and dramatic conclusion to our tour of the North. Journey to Central China. The heart of the Middle Kingdom. A journey to Central China. Leaving the imperial grandeur of the North behind, our journey now takes us into the very heart of China. This is Central China, a land defined by its mighty rivers, mystical mountains, ancient towns that seem to be suspended in time. If the North was the political and military brain of the empire, this central region is its agricultural and spiritual heart. The landscapes here are softer, greener, and dominated by the life-giving force of water. Great rivers like the Yangtze and its many tributaries carved deep gorges, created fertile plains, nurtured a way of life connected to the rhythms of the seasons and the flow of the current. This part of China feels ancient in a different way. History written in terraced fields climbing mountainsides, weathered wood of riverside temples, the quiet determination of generations of farmers. A region that has inspired poets and painters, its misty mountains and winding rivers, icons of classical Chinese art. Geography shaped people's philosophies, art, and spiritual beliefs, creating harmony and resilience. We will navigate the awesome power of the Yangtze River through the Three Gorges. Witness one of the world's most ambitious engineering projects. Lose ourselves in the quiet, magical alleyways of ancient water towns. Ascend to the otherworldly sandstone pillars of Zhangjiajie. From bustling modern river ports to serene, remote mountain monasteries, we will meet boatmen who've navigated these waters for generations. Farmers cultivating steep hillsides with ingenuity. Pilgrims climbing sacred peaks in search of spiritual enlightenment. We will explore how the land provides food, inspiration, and a deep sense of place. So, let the gentle current of the river guide us as we venture into the green, misty, and soulful heart of the Middle Kingdom. Riding the Dragon. Life along the mighty Yangtze River. Our main artery through central China is the magnificent Yangtze River. In Chinese, it is called the Changjiang, which simply means long river, a humble name for the longest river in Asia and the third longest in the world. For thousands of years, the Yangtze has acted as a great flowing highway, a source of life, and a powerful force of nature that has shaped the land and the destiny of the nation. It winds its way for almost 4,000 miles, from the high plateaus of Tibet down to the sea at Shanghai. For centuries, life along its banks has ebbed and flowed with its powerful currents. It is often called another of China's great dragons, a benevolent but sometimes fearsome creature. To travel along the Yangtze is to witness a vibrant, moving tapestry of Chinese life. You will see bustling port cities, massive cargo ships being loaded with goods, cranes moving like giant mechanical birds. Just a few miles downstream, a lone fisherman casts his net from a small traditional wooden boat. Along the riverbanks, fertile plains stretch out, dotted with villages where life is governed by the planting and harvesting of rice, cotton, wheat. The river is a constant presence, a source of livelihood, transportation, and inspiration. Life for those who live and work directly on the river has always been hard work, with deep respect for the water's power. We can imagine boat people, families living on sampans, a floating community with its own culture and traditions. We can picture the trackers of old hauling boats upstream, bodies straining, chanting in unison. While modern engines have made that back-breaking labor obsolete, the spirit of resilience and cooperation remains. Today, journeys are often made on modern cruise ships, offering a comfortable vantage point. From the deck, you can watch the landscape slowly unfold, sprawling industrial cities, serene rural vistas. You see farmers tending vegetable plots at the water's edge, children waving as the boat glides by. The river connects everything and everyone. A living, breathing entity, carrying the stories of China's past and the currents of its future on its long, winding journey to the sea. Our own journey upon its waters will reveal the very pulse of central China. The Three Gorges, nature's grandest sculpture. As we continue our journey along the Yangtze, we enter its most legendary and breathtaking section, the Three Gorges. This is a stretch of river, about 120 miles long, where the water has carved a spectacular series of canyons through a range of limestone mountains. For centuries, this passage was famously beautiful, but also notoriously dangerous for sailors, with swift currents, hidden shoals, and towering cliffs that seem to close in on the boats below. The names of the gorges themselves are steeped in poetry and history. Kutang, Wu, Xiling. This is nature's grandest sculpture, captivating artists and writers for millennia. The first gorge, Kutang, is the shortest and most dramatic. Here, the river is squeezed between almost vertical cliffs, a monumental gateway. The second gorge, Wu Gorge, is known for its mystical beauty. Peaks shrouded in mist and clouds, like classic Chinese paintings. The cliffs are so high they block the sun much of the day, lending an ethereal quality. Finally, Long Xiling Gorge, once the most dangerous with rapids and shoals, opens into wider vistas. Then came the Three Gorges Dam, one of the largest and most controversial engineering projects in human history. completed in the early 21st century. Built to control devastating floods. Built to improve river navigation. Built to generate massive hydroelectric power. A monumental feat of engineering. A symbol of modern China's ability to tame nature. The dam slowed the river and raised water levels significantly. The impact is complex. It provides clean energy and flood protection for millions. But it submerged archaeological sites, submerged ancient villages, submerged swathes of natural scenery. Over 1 million people were relocated to newly built cities on higher ground. Traveling the gorges today is different than in the past. The rapids are gone and cliffs seem less towering with the higher water. Yet the scenery remains breathtakingly beautiful. The journey is now a meditation on the relationship between human ambition and the enduring power of nature. Chongqing. Emerging from the western end of the Three Gorges, we arrive at one of China's most astonishing and futuristic-looking cities, Chongqing. This is not a city that spreads out horizontally across a plain. It is a city that climbs. Built on a mountainous peninsula, Yangtze River, Jialing River, Chongqing is a sprawling, multi-layered metropolis of staggering verticality. Roads are built on top of roads. Bridges soar high above buildings. Entire apartment blocks cling precariously to steep hillsides. It is a city that seems to defy gravity, a testament to incredible engineering and the human will to build a home in even the most challenging terrain. Navigating Chongqing is an experience unlike any other. What looks like the ground floor of a building from one side might actually be the 10th floor when viewed from another street. The subway system sometimes emerges from a tunnel to run through the middle of a residential apartment building. The city is famous for its wavy roads and mind-bending interchanges that twist and turn in multiple directions on different levels. This unique geography means that bicycles are almost non-existent here. The hills are simply too steep. Public escalators whisk people up and down the inclines. Cable cars offer stunning views of the urban landscape. Chongqing is often called the Fog City because it is shrouded in a thick layer of mist for much of the year, moisture rising from the rivers. This fog, combined with neon-lit skyscrapers and dense urban fabric, gives it a moody, cinematic, cyberpunk feel at night. The city pulses with a raw, chaotic energy, constant construction, motion, and change on a dizzying, three-dimensional grid. Beneath the futuristic skyline, traces of the old city remain. Steep stone staircases wind down to the riverbanks. Traditional tea houses line the steps. Small, bustling neighborhoods adapted to vertical life. The local cuisine is famously fiery, Chongqing hot pot, steaming and communal. Chongqing is a city of incredible dynamism and surreal beauty, a vertical labyrinth of concrete, steel, and mist that perfectly represents the relentless forward momentum of modern China. And it's quite unforgettable. The ancient town of Fenghuang. From the hyper-modern verticality of Chongqing, we now transport ourselves to a place that feels like it has been lifted directly from a delicate watercolor painting. We travel to the western part of Hunan province to visit Fenghuang, which means phoenix. This is one of China's most beautiful and well-preserved ancient towns. Here, time slows down. The town is built along the banks of the gentle Tuo River, and its most iconic feature is the Diaojiaolu, traditional wooden houses built on stilts that extend out over the water. These weathered, gray-tiled structures seem to grow organically from the riverbank, creating a scene of perfect, rustic harmony. Walking through Fenghuang is like stepping into a living museum. The town's narrow stone alleyways, worn smooth by centuries of footsteps, wind between the old houses and shops. There are no cars in the ancient core. The only traffic is the gentle movement of people, and the occasional flat-bottomed boat being pulled along the river. You can cross the water on a series of unique stepping stones, or on one of the elegant covered bridges, like the famous Rainbow Bridge, which houses small shops, and offers a perfect vantage point for watching the life of the town unfold. The air is filled with the scent of ginger candy being made, and the quiet murmur of the river. The town has a rich history and is the home of several of China's ethnic minority groups, particularly the Miao people and the Tujia people. You can see their cultural influence in the intricate silver jewelry, beautifully embroidered fabrics, and unique handicrafts sold in the small shops that line the streets. In the evenings, the town takes on a magical quality. Red lanterns are lit, casting a warm glow on the dark wood of the stilt houses and reflecting in the calm surface of the river. It is a photographer's dream, a place where every corner reveals another perfectly composed scene of timeless beauty. Life in Fenghuang is inextricably linked to the river. You can see local women washing their clothes on the stone steps leading down to the water. Fishermen glide by in their narrow boats, and the river serves as both a public square and a main thoroughfare. While Fenghuang has become a popular destination for tourists seeking to escape the pace of modern life, it has managed to retain its authentic charm and tranquil atmosphere. It is a place that reminds us of a simpler, slower way of life, one that is built in perfect harmony with the natural landscape, and, well, it really feels timeless. Zhangjiajie's floating peaks. Prepare to enter a landscape so surreal and otherworldly that it feels like stepping onto another planet. We are now traveling to Zhangjiajie National Forest Park in Hunan Province. This park is famous for its thousands of towering sandstone pillars. They rise hundreds of feet into the air from the forest floor. These are not mountains in the traditional sense. Slender, gravity-defying quartz sandstone columns, weathered by millions of years of erosion. When the morning mist rolls into the valleys, it often obscures the base of these pillars, making them appear to float, a truly breathtaking sight. This landscape was formed over immense geological time. What was once an ancient seafloor was pushed up, then slowly eroded by water and ice, with vertical patterns guiding the erosion. The result, a dense forest of pillars, each one a unique natural sculpture. The park is a paradise for hikers and nature lovers. Miles of trails, terrifyingly beautiful glass bridges, the world's tallest outdoor elevator, the Beilong elevator. It whisks you 1,000 feet up the cliff in just a couple of minutes, revealing a stunning panoramic view of the floating peaks. The unique beauty of Zhangjiajie has not gone unnoticed. This landscape inspired Avatar's floating Hallelujah Mountains. Since the film, the park gained international fame. One pillar was renamed Avatar Hallelujah Mountain. Walking through, it's easy to see why filmmakers were captivated. The scale is immense. The shapes are fantastical. Mist and clouds create a dynamic, ever-changing scene, ancient and futuristic. Exploring Zhangjiajie is humbling, a reminder of nature's slow, patient, artistic power. From a viewpoint, you look out over an endless sea of pillars and feel awe. The air is fresh and filled with forest sounds. You might spot native macaque monkeys playing in the trees. Zhangjiajie fires the imagination and soothes the soul. It is a precious natural treasure, a real-life fantasy world, and, it really stays with you. Pathways to the heavens, the sacred mountains. Beyond the fantastical pillars of Zhangjiajie, central China is also home to some of the nation's most important sacred mountains. For thousands of years, these mountains have been seen as places of immense spiritual power, the earthly dwelling places of deities, and the destinations of countless pilgrims. They are central to China's three main traditional belief systems: Taoism, Buddhism, Confucianism. To climb one of these mountains is not just a physical challenge. It is a spiritual journey, a ritual of purification and enlightenment. The pathways are often steep stone staircases, worn smooth by the feet of millions who have made the ascent over centuries. One of the most famous of these is Mount Wudang, considered the birthplace of Taoism and the internal martial art of Tai Chi. The mountain's peaks are dotted with a complex of ancient monasteries and temples that seem to cling to the cliffs in perfect harmony with their surroundings. Here, you can see Taoist monks in their traditional robes, their long hair tied in top knots, practicing martial arts, or quietly meditating. The philosophy of Taoism emphasizes living in harmony with the Tao, and the serene, mystical atmosphere of the mountain is the perfect embodiment of this ideal. Another important site is Mount Yimei in Sichuan province, one of the 4 sacred Buddhist mountains of China. Legend says that Buddhism was first established here in the 1st century. The ascent of Mount Yimei is a pilgrimage through different climate zones, starting in a subtropical forest at the base and ending in an alpine landscape of snow and ice at the summit, which is over 10,000 feet high. The mountain is famous for a phenomenon known as the Buddha's light, a rare atmospheric optical effect, where a circular rainbow can be seen in the clouds below the summit. For believers, catching a glimpse of this is a sign of great fortune and enlightenment. These sacred mountains are more than just religious sites. They are living cultural landscapes. The journey to the top is punctuated by stops at ancient temples, encounters with wild monkeys, and moments of quiet contemplation at viewpoints offering breathtaking vistas. The air grows thinner and purer as you climb, and the world below seems to fall away. Whether one is a devout pilgrim or a secular traveler, the experience of climbing these mountains is a profound one. It is a journey that connects you to nature, to history, and to the enduring human quest for meaning and transcendence that is so deeply woven into the fabric of central China. The flavors of the Riverlands, from fiery spices to tangy pickles. The cuisine of central China is as diverse and dramatic as its landscapes. This region, particularly the province of Sichuan, is world-renowned for its bold, complex, and fiery flavors. Sichuan cuisine is not just about heat. It is about a sophisticated interplay of different tastes, famously including spicy, salty, sweet, sour, bitter. The defining characteristic is the unique mala flavor, numbing, spicy. This comes from the combination of chili peppers, Sichuan peppercorn. It is an addictive and unforgettable culinary experience. Mapo tofu, kung pao chicken. Another beloved institution is the Sichuan hot pot. Friends and family gather around a table with a simmering pot at its center. Thinly sliced meats, mushrooms, leafy greens, tofu, noodles. They dip and cook it themselves. It is a lively, communal, and deeply satisfying meal, especially on a cool, damp evening. The humid climate of the Riverlands also made food preservation a crucial skill, leading to a rich tradition of pickling and curing. You will find markets filled with colorful jars of pickled vegetables, from mustard greens, radishes, long beans, chili peppers. These pickles add a tangy, crunchy, savory. The region is also famous for its cured meats, like the delicious air-dried sausages, hams, which add a deep, smoky flavor to stir-fries, steamed dishes. The food of central China tells the story of its environment. The spices were traditionally used to combat the dampness, preserve food. The abundance of rivers and fertile land provides a rich variety of fresh ingredients, from river fish, vegetables. Exploring the food here is an adventure in itself. It is a journey into a world of bold flavors, complex techniques, deep cultural understanding. To eat in central China is to truly feel the vibrant, energetic pulse of the region. Echoes of the poets, culture born from the landscape. The stunning landscapes of central China have done more than shape how people live and eat. They have profoundly shaped the nation's artistic soul. For over 1,000 years, misty mountains, winding rivers, tranquil lakes. These were the prime muse for China's greatest poets and painters. The iconic style of Chinese landscape painting, Shan Shui, was born here. These paintings are not meant to be realistic depictions of a specific place. Rather, they're emotional and philosophical expressions of the artist's feelings about nature and the universe. The poets of the Tang and Song dynasties drew endless inspiration from their travels through this region. Great poets like Li Bai, Du Fu. They wrote while journeying on the Yangtze River, or seeking solitude in the mountains. Their poems speak of a moonrise over a lake, the melancholy of parting from a friend at a riverside pavilion. and the awe of contemplating the immense power of a gorge. These poems show a deep appreciation for nature's beauty and a reflection on the fleeting nature of human life versus the permanence of mountains and rivers. This artistic tradition emphasizes harmony between humanity and nature. In a typical shan shui painting, you'll see vast, majestic mountains and rivers. But somewhere within the scene, there will be a tiny figure, a scholar in a pavilion, a fisherman on a boat, or a traveler on a mountain path. This is intentional. The smallness of the human figure shows our proper place in the cosmos, not conquerors of nature, but humble, respectful parts of it. This philosophy reflects Taoist and Buddhist ideas that flourished in these landscapes. As we conclude our journey through central China, we are left with echoes of art and poetry. The landscapes we have seen are not just geographical features. They are cultural symbols, imbued with centuries of meaning and emotion. The floating peaks of Zhangjiajie, the misty gorges of the Yangtze, the serene waters of Fenghuang. They remind us that a people's relationship with their land can be one of deep, reciprocal inspiration. The heart of the Middle Kingdom has given China enduring, beautiful expressions of culture, born from the timeless dialogue between mountains and water.